show. I think that it's been a tough time for South Africa. We see a lot of things happening. One of the things on my side is I tend to become despondent. I don't go through the voter apathy part because I believe we need to play a role, but at the same time, we're bombarded with billboards, we're bombarded with messages, and everyone's doing the yes we can. So Yusuf Dalwai is here, he's a lawyer and is an aspiring councillor, and Shameemah Dollie Salie is here, and she's the national spokesperson for the Jama-Ah party. I know the party, Shameemah, has been going on for a long time now, but everything is not always a party, I would say. But we're in a time right now that South Africans are perhaps fed up, and they're seeing all these posters, and I'm sorry I'm starting on that note, but I need to understand what would be different with Jama-Ah.
Well, Faizal, let's put it this way. I'm a fed up South African as well.
Too.
Absolutely.
Welcome to the club.
There we go. I too am tired of all the posters. I'm tired of the promises. I'm tired of the lies and the corruption, etc. Now, I think to get an understanding of from where I come from, I worked for justice for 18 years, which means
As an advocate, of course.
As an advocate. So first I was a state advocate at the National Prosecuting Authority. That was for 9 years. And then I moved over to the Family Advocate's Office for 9 years. And even within justice, I saw the fraud and the corruption firsthand, and that is why I decided to leave. For 5 years, I've just been focusing on assisting our communities, whether it be in Hajj travel and tourism, whether it be to serve those in need, whether it be to educate, to assist the orphans. So I'm involved with a number of NPOs and organizations, and I think I'm fairly a familiar face. So why am I deciding on Jama-Ah? Because it's a political platform for all communities. And furthermore, 5 years ago, the Honourable Hanif Hendricks started bombarding with me to please join. He was looking for people to join the party. He wanted to create a platform for change for communities. And 5 years ago, I was not ready because I felt that, you know what, it's fine to have done some form of service delivery within the justice system. What other service delivery have I actually provided? So for 5 years, I've been assisting in the communities as well, because you need to have some form of qualification, some form of background in actual service delivery before you can actually follow the path of politics with all honesty.
And that takes me to the part that I want to discuss with Yusuf, and that's it's your first bout of politics, and it's your first round in terms of an aspiring councillor. I'm not sure if you just wake up one morning deciding to become a councillor, which some people perhaps do, but I think there needs to be a foundation. So me scratching a little bit into your background, would say that you have been involved in a bit of civic issues, involved with social issues, community development, community projects. So you've got a bit of a rock to stand on, despite there being many people out there that perhaps is just entering the space to be on a poster. Now, it's one thing to be a poster boy, and it's one thing to actually do the job. What was that moment for you where you said, I'm going to do this? Because this is not something that you decide to wake up one morning and just, oh, by the way, I dreamt last night I should be standing for councillor. So what was that moment? I'm trying to, because I understand from her, she's saying that she's been involved in that space and then she saw the need, but running for councillor?
Yes, similarly to Advocate Shameemah, I didn't wake up one morning and decide to stand for a...
You do know that's happening out, especially this election. There's people coming out of the woodwork.
Look, I think it happens at every election. But yes, if you're saying this election, that is true. Well, my involvement in the community is quite vast, involving in various organizations, NPOs, NGOs, religious organizations, and having a legal qualification and being in the legal profession, I realized that, look, there is a need in the community, and there's the legal profession can only take a client to a certain point, right? And then we have the consideration for fees, and we have, financially clients are not able to afford those things, yet they have that right. And I decided one day, look, at the end of the day, we want to make progress, we want community involvement, we want the community to be empowered. How are we going to do this? There is a lot lacking in terms of our legal system, for example. There's a lot lacking in terms of our laws, our bylaws, our policies, our legislation. So we need to get involved with that if we want to effect change, and that was my point of departure. How am I, as a single practitioner, going to effect change? And I then thought the only way is get involved with Al Jama-Ah political party, a sister party, so that that change can come into effect. And then I would feel satisfied in the sense that the broader community is being empowered and there is progress for our community.
So when you decide you want to get into this so that you can effect change, we understand that the political wheel is there, like in any other country, and that wheel is subdivided into various strata in terms of local elections and municipal and by-elections and national elections, and we have different levels of governance at the same time, and you start at a certain point. However, what was your informed decision criteria for Al Jama-Ah? Because I mean, you've grown up in a time where you've seen the ANC, the DA, the EFF, many other parties like COPE that's not coping at the moment, for example. You've seen all of that happening. So what informed your decision to Al Jama-Ah? Because is it not fair of me to say that Al Jama-Ah, like any other party, is also shouting, yes, we can, like any other party?
Yes. So my decision was a few years ago, I think just prior to the previous election, when I read the parties, when I had to make a decision which party I wish to join and also support. And I was going through various parties, and I even though I was familiar with Al Jama-Ah previously, but did not go into depth with them, and I started reading up more, reading the manifesto, engaging with the leadership, and then I realized, look, this is a party that I can work with, because for the morals and values that it promotes, and I feel that is something I can connect with and attach myself to.
Shameemah, latching onto what I'm saying with Yusuf, I just want to take this on a spokesperson level, because he's in Ward 63, I stand under correction.
That's correct.
And in Cape Town, that is. And you are the national spokesperson. So I just want to broaden this a little bit and then come back into your ward politics and that sort of thing. Like I mentioned, there are different levels, and we can talk about these on different levels. So today is it, I promise you I can get into my car outside and we can just drive down the road, and everybody's bombarding the electorate with things that we are not new to. Every few years a Haley's Comet comes along, blows a big wind behind it and disappears until the next round of promises. And I need to try and understand, what if you had this one chance, I'm here as a voter right now, you had this one chance to say why Al Jama-Ah, just not a promise, but backed up with some real backup to say that this is what we really do, what would be that defining line that would make me, as a potential voter, put the X or the cross next to your name?
Because we don't just make promises, we actually serve.
Aren't they all saying that?
No, but there's a track record.
Yeah.
Look at the actual track record of the political party that you're going to put your cross by. I know some are saying, small parties can't make a difference. And there's this whole thing DA saying about, they're going to join up with others, etc., etc. And they don't have the strength. There we go, they don't have a voice. I'll just give you a small example. Imran Musa, one of our councillors in Lenasia, he took a ward away from the DA. Now that's a small party and that's a slap in the face of the DA, but he's effecting change on the ground. He is showing you what change can be done.
From Cape Town.
Absolutely.
He is very busy and active.
He's very busy, and despite that busyness, you will always get the criticism. You've got to look past the criticism. I'm sorry, I'll say this straight out, Faizal. I try not to go on many interviews and all those things. Why? Because in that time, while I'm wasting the time in an interview or on a radio making foolish promises, right, I could be out there in the community and actually serving. And that is what you need. People need to be able to see you on the ground. They need to actually see what you are doing and capable of doing. And that is the problem that we have. The promises. Action speaks louder than words.
Indeed. Ward 63 what have you been telling your electorate in terms of, I'm a resident, for example, and you knock on my door, and you should be given a fair chance because you have not run for council before, and it's your first election. But what's your message to your immediate electorate?
Okay, so Al Jama-Ah is not a new party. We're a small party, but not a new party. Okay, we have grown over the years. We're close to 2 decades old, and we have made a lot of changes and contributed to a lot of empowerment platforms, and made a lot of change in terms of bylaws and also the Muslim personal law matters, especially to do with marriages, to do with estates, and to do with maintenance. We are very active in that regard. So in terms of Ward 63, yes, I've not been a ward councillor before, but I have identified with Ward 63 and looked at what the issues are surrounding Ward 63, and particularly Wynberg. Wynberg has fell through the cracks over the years, unfortunately. We're not going to blame anybody. People, the electorate, are
what
able
do you mean by fallen through the cracks?
Look, a lot of upgrades were neglected in Wynberg. Okay.
So promises, no
promises, nothing has been done. So my point of departure will be Wynberg, although Ward 63 consists of Wynberg, Southfield, Plumstead, Fairways. We have those, most of those areas were given some attention. Okay, Wynberg was somewhat neglected. However, so I promote that Wynberg is a point of departure, and definitely going to deal with crime and health and safety. That's a priority to deal with in Ward 63 right now.
We know that there are challenges. We understand that there are overarching challenges that the country faces. Part of that is the management of our power utilities. There are issues and challenges in the health department. Every department has its fair share of challenges. Al Jama-Ah has, like Yusuf said, he spoke about Muslim personal law, and I want to throw something at you in terms of that sort of thing. I'm reading that on his t-shirt it says political platform for all communities. Now he's spoken about Muslim personal law. Let's just say the Hindu community or the Jewish community comes to you with a very similar challenge innate to their cultural or religious beliefs that needs legislative change or relook at. Whatever that might be, I'm not sure whether it's in their marriages or whether it is in whatever it might be. Would Al Jama-Ah listen to such cases and propel such matters equally like it is with Muslim personal law, because you say that you're a political platform for all communities?
Well, obviously we will, because we're already doing it. We were looking at minority communities and religions and cultures who are not getting a voice by the bigger parties. Because if you're in a bigger party, you seem to just be drowned in that particular space and your voice is not heard. So the Al Jama-Ah has definitely been a platform for all communities and a voice for many communities, which a lot of people doesn't understand. I think people were speaking about, but yes, you're supposed to just basically be for Muslims, and what about...
So you're getting that?
Oh no, we're getting that. We're getting attacked. We've been called Shia. We've been called, oh, you're not wanting to do Sharia.
You know there's a billboard with all of our faces on it.
Oh yes, absolutely. So we're not following Sharia laws and all kinds of things. But they don't seem to understand at the end of the day, we have the best of leaders. We have the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And I think what they forget is, how did our Prophet govern in his time? At the end of the day, he governed and he respected all religions, all cultures, and he actually made a point of respecting those religions and cultures and protecting them even more than ourselves. And why is that? Because what is Islam bottom line? It's about being charitable, it's about being honest, it's about being transparent and being open. So yes, indeed, we have a responsibility. So if you want to talk about Muslim, we have a responsibility to help those minority groups as well, who doesn't have a voice or a platform. So therefore, even if we don't subscribe to the Jewish faith or the Hindu faith, but we still have a responsibility to assist.
Of course. Yusuf, there's challenges on the road. You spoke about Ward 63. I'm just trying to work out from your campaign perspective, what is your current target areas, for example, in terms of delivery? So what are your current challenges in your region, and what are you planning to do about those challenges? Each area perhaps has very specific areas. They have overlapping issues that are national issues, but every area has its own challenges. I'm not certain what your ward's challenges are, but if you could mention some of them and what some of your solutions might be for those challenges.
If we look at the challenges in Ward 63, it's very similar to many other wards. Every ward has the same issues, but on different levels, right? Ward 63 firstly has a high crime rate at the moment. Due to vagrancies and loitering, and also there's a transport interchange in Wynberg. It needs to be cleaned up. So definitely upgrades in security, contacting and putting pressure on the various transport agencies like PRASA and the Golden Arrow bus services and taxi associations, to sit with them and ask them to cooperate with us, with the community, because crime is the major problem right now. Wynberg did not have much of a crime issue previously. There were the normal crimes, but it is on the increase, and we need to curb it. That's an urgent and a priority right now. We need to curb it, because
if you say curb it, that could be very cliche. I would like to know what's the actual plan to curb crime.
yeah, we're gonna.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
Yes,
I
no,
just
no,
want
no, of course.
to see if you have some idea of how we're going to tackle.
Look, we're limited to a certain extent, because due to South African Police Services has to come in and step in and provide protocol to certain criminal activities. So we need to, as a community of Ward 63, need to get together and assist various neighborhood watches that's already in existence. Right? Be more vigilant, okay?
It's about applying the pressure on
yes,
it, right?
yes, that's correct. Getting the law enforcement, getting Metro Police, getting SAPS involved, actively visible policing. We need to put pressure, because that will prevent, at least deter loitering, vagrancies and all these type of things. So yes, that is what we need to put in place immediately. It's no use we're going to upgrade a park or a hall and the next day it's going to be vandalized. So that is important. First clean up, right? And all the dumping and these type of things, we need those are the things we need to address. I believe we need to first clean up and then take it to a next level. That is a priority. Then the other aspect is the health of our senior citizens in Ward 63. Many reports has come that they struggle to go to hospital, or they get sick and there's no one to assist.
Are you already picking up these issues during your campaign trail?
That's correct, yeah.
So you're picking that up already?
Yes, yes.
But that's very interesting, because that's almost like something that one wouldn't easily hear from, or it's not easily spoken about.
Yes.
Or how do you get onto that information unless you really start to engage,
interacting with senior citizens.
People,
So we've, in conjunction with a resident that also started an ambulance service, we want to improve that and assist in that regard, so that our senior citizens are taken care of. We rely on their good thoughts, their prayers, as our responsibility to our seniors. So focusing on that, making sure, especially now during the time of the pandemic, there were many incidents where senior citizens were not able to get through certain medical processes. We want to make sure that is going to be in place for them, and our mothers and fathers in our communities are taken care of. Then that's from the senior citizen point of view. Then the youth needs to be empowered. We need to bring them to a certain point. We need to bring them into a youth center. We need to give them skill. We need to keep their minds occupied, right? These are things that we don't need a budget for, right? These are things that people in Wynberg, in Ward 63 are very talented, very intelligent people living in this ward. So if we all bring our resources together, I don't see that we even need a budget for that. Right, our own resources, we can put this together and empower the youth, because at the end of the day, the other issue is the drug addiction, and that's where petty crime comes in, stealing taps and stealing the drains and drain lids and stealing gates, and for
making this a little bit unbearable for
Yes.
the citizens of
Yeah.
your ward. Yusuf, we can come back to you. We can go for a quick break, come back afterwards and discuss what the plans for the future is with Al Jama-Ah.
When the kids heard Faizal say it, they were all excited.
I'm so happy.
To hook up and link up with.
Whoa, I've got an entire cheerleading team on the side in Lebanon.
We love you, Faizal! ما سمعتكن. We love you, Faizal!
You know what? There's so much excitement here, Faizal, because we opened the school yesterday, the Amman School of Excellence, which is going to host 650 children. They're going to educate 650 children. About 90% of these kids still need sponsors.
Welcome back from the break. I hope I'm not putting Yusuf and Shameemah under too much pressure, but I think it's fair to say that South Africa, and whether it's the citizens of the Western Cape or any other province, has lots of questions. Post 94, we saw lots of challenges, which I think is perhaps a usual trajectory for any post-apartheid type of behavior that we might see. And I'm currently not here to push any party down. I think everybody should be given a fair chance. Perhaps some people had that chance and they're busy blowing it. That's another discussion altogether. But Shameemah, if I can start with you, I want to talk about elections itself and the process of elections. And I think that it's overwhelming for some people, because for some people it will be their first time maybe, and for others it's just something they don't do every day. So we want to walk them through all of that. But at the same time, will Al Jama-Ah focus on doing work? And the reason I'm saying this is because I'm a bit on the tired side of political parties that use all our time that we pay them for to mudsling. So part of their campaign is mudslinging, and part of their daily jobs every day is mudslinging each other. And when there's only 24 hours in a day, and if 6 hours is used for mudslinging, we're paying for that as the citizens of this country. And I'm wondering if Al Jama-Ah is looking, or are you going the route of saying, sorry man, we focus on our work. It's okay to respond to an issue and an allegation, but if I look at some of the other parties, their strategy is to attack all the time. And I'm not in agreement with that.
Faizal, I love the question that you're asking, because I'm actually tired of the mudslinging that's actually happening. It's on another level. I've said it before. In the time that the mudslinging is happening, it tells me a lot. Because if you're so busy mudslinging, when are you actually going to get out into the communities and do your work?
Well, that's my very question. I mean,
yeah. So
that's
for
what
me,
I'm
it's a
trying to
matter
say.
of co-governance. I am someone who would actually opt for some form of co-governance, so that people are kept, and political parties are kept responsible for the promises that they made. So you can kind of avoid this corruption and the fraud and the theft, because there's some eyes being kept on you on co-governance. Like say, what are you actually doing in the communities? If you're harder working, busy working in the community, so show all the things that you are capable of doing, we wouldn't be sitting here right now having to tell people, please, there are people that doesn't want to vote at this point. They still don't know who to vote for. All I'm going to say is, look at the individual who is on your ballot form. There will be 2 ballot forms. One will be for the PR seat and one will be for the ward councillor in your area. Your ward councillor, what has he actually done for you in your community? That's the one question. Even if he is from a different area than yours, what is his capabilities and what is his skills? This is very important. How will this person be your voice in the municipality when it comes to important decisions being made for your area? The promises that this person is making, is it realistic promises? Has these promises been made before? What is this person saying different from anybody else? So these are important questions that needs to be asked, and we can't avoid it. So if they haven't been in your area prior to that, doing some form of community work, why are you just coming out of the woodwork now and suddenly just running? Prove yourself. You know, I have seen some candidates out there from a variety of parties, and I'm not here to mudsling anybody, but I've seen them working. And in others, nothing is happening. But please don't waste your vote. If you want change in this country, then go out there and make your cross and vote so that, you know what, I have children, I've got grandparents, etc. I have effectively made my decision to assist in making and to ensure that change happens in this country. It is overdue.
Of course. Yusuf, I wanted to just expand a little bit on that idea. Shameemah is using terms like PR councillors. The general public perhaps is not aware of these type of terms. Some of them may be. And then when we look at the actual ballot paper, can you take us through a quick pragmatic approach in terms of you're going to go up into the voting booth, what are you going to see and what are you supposed to do? Because there are many people out there that's perhaps not fully aware. That's why we have so many spoiled ballots and things like that, because people don't really know at times what.
The local government elections is different to the national elections. So you'll get 2 ballots, and one for your ward candidate, which you'll see whichever ward you belong to, you will observe the name of that candidate within the ballot, and the one will be for the municipality basically. So you choose, you have 2 options. And perhaps a lot of people vote for the candidate which belongs to a certain party, and for the other ballot, the municipality, they would vote for another party, right? So you have 2 choices, right? For the bigger picture, for the bigger municipality, and for your ward candidate. So if that is how people tend to do things. Alternatively, you vote for both. Your party that you in favor of, but that's your right, that's your choice. I just want to give you a little bit of background regarding the various seats, in particularly Al Jama-Ah. Al Jama-Ah has been doing work, like I mentioned earlier. We're a small party, we're not a new party, so which means that we already have our foot in various departments, right? For example, we have seats in Parliament. Our leader, Honorable Hanif Hendricks, is our Member of Parliament. Then we have Provincial Parliament. Maulana Khalil Brinkhuis is the Member of Parliament for, on a provincial level. Then we have councillors throughout, like KZN, we have a few, like I think 10 or 11. We have in Johannesburg, we have ward councillors. Shameemah mentioned Imran Musa, and then we have seats in the Mayoral Committee in Gauteng as well. So the party is definitely growing, and our voices are being heard. The community's voices are being heard through us as well in these various departments. So that is an advantage of a small party that's growing. Okay, and it's steadily growing. It has made progress. It's a track record, like Shameemah mentioned. It's not like we started last year and we now got something. We've been doing this for the past almost 2 decades, and as you can see, the track record, it is definitely growing and increasing in that form. So yes, development is definitely on the way, and we encourage people to look into Al Jama-Ah and vote for Al Jama-Ah, because we are here to serve and not be served.
Shameemah, I'm going to do something strange, and that is that I'm going to give you this camera here on my left, which is our guest camera in studio today, and you will have 1 minute to address our audience through this camera and tell them why they should vote for Al Jama-Ah. But just bear in mind something. It can't be the Yes We Can campaign, right? I need to just understand. Yes. So this camera, why, addressing our audience directly, why should they vote for Al Jama-Ah?
I would say vote for Al Jama-Ah because we have a track record of actual service delivery, not a track record of just empty promises. And it is by time that change be effected, and you can hold us accountable. Yes, Yusuf, yes, myself, as I'm a national spokesperson, I have a track record of actually serving the community in a variety of areas, and we have a track record of actually effecting change. Just to give you one example, Maintenance has been a huge problem for women in South Africa for a very long time. It is Jama-Ah who has taken that maintenance issue, and it's currently before the Parliament. And many such issues will be taken to the necessary levels to ensure that change is actually infected, and that there's not just promises being made, and that when you have something to say and when you have a concern, you are actually able to come to a political party like Jama-Ah and say, this is the issues that we're currently sitting with, and know that there is someone who has the interest of the citizens of this country at heart and will be doing something about it.
Thank you, Shameemah. Yusuf, I'm going to do the same thing to you. You're addressing your community, your Ward 63, and I know that it's going to be a tough battle for you. I think we admit that, because at the moment I think that it's just my opinion that perhaps over time Jama-Ah still needs to develop a presence in your ward from the reports that I am getting at the moment in your specific ward. But that's fine, because this is a developmental process. It's not about being the poster boy. It is about being part of the process, and if it means this round or the next round, but the work will continue, I suppose. But looking into camera, addressing our audience, people from Ward 63 watch this. What is your message?
Like I previously mentioned earlier, we have various seats in around South Africa, and if we just look at Cape Town, we have our PR seats in Cape Town headed by Farid Ahmad and Ahmad Hendricks, and they've been doing a sterling job in council, ensuring that all service delivery is always kept up to date, following up with various queries, various issues, various disputes, following up with him, and that is the responsibility that they've carried for Jama-Ah thus far in Cape Town. And that would include, it obviously includes all the wards in the Western Cape. So yes, because we don't have a ward, certain ward councillors in certain wards, it makes it difficult for us to provide service delivery for the entire Western Cape, but we're doing our best to see through the entire Western Cape to the best that we can with the amount of seats that we do hold in council. So this time around we envisage to have much more seats and to deliver more on service delivery, to deliver more on prioritizing service delivery, and also ensuring that crime is being kept at bay, and combating crime in particular, and also obviously providing certain legal services. We want to have pro bono legal offices in every ward for people to come with the issues, and also assist women with gender-based violence, make sure that health and safety, especially health, like I mentioned, for the senior citizens, and empowering youth, and obviously attending to various upgrades in the community. So we have issues like roads, potholes, and issues with electricity and water. Those are things that we would like to escalate at all times. Yes, there's a process to follow. We log the faults, but we envisage to escalate those faults to the right departments and give a more faster turnaround time for Ward 63.
Shameemah, thank you for joining us. Yusuf, thank you for joining us. The end of the episode, been an interesting one for me. Probably wondering what's going to happen around this election. I haven't looked much into any projections or anything like that. I wish Jama-Ah well in this particular attempt of theirs. We wish Yusuf well. Maybe if he's councillor at some point. He says that he's not going to take any bribes from me. Until next time, goodbye.